Agents of Change, Human in the Loop, here on the Croisette with Brian O'Kelly. Hey, Brian O'Kelly, welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we are talking about all things agentic, obviously near and dear to your heart right now, something you're very passionate about. So let's start with some just hot take questions. Where are you trusting an agent in your workflows today?
Well,
Love an example.
okay. So for 30 years, I've been a very good computer programmer. And almost everything about programmatic advertising, I wrote the code for myself with these fingers. And about a year ago, someone showed me how to use Claude Code, which is effectively a coding agent.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way. And I tried it, and it was terrible. But it was terrible in a, like, if you give it 10 or 12 tries, it will get it right. And so you could run it in the background. I didn't really trust it. Last September, Anthropic released Opus 4.5, I think. And all of a sudden, it was really good. And instead of 10 tries, it did it in 2 tries.
Okay.
And it became faster to have it write code that I would then QA than for me to do it myself. And then they released 4.6 and 4.7 and now 4.8. And now it's the point where I don't even QA the code anymore.
Wow.
I have a QA agent that QAs my coding agent. I have a design agent. I have a docs agent. I have agents that do all the things that I used to do. And so I just talk to my computer like a crazy person, right? I have it running 15 or 20 projects. I don't tell it how to code it. I tell it the objective I want. And then I come back an hour later. Right now, back at my little apartment place, my laptop is coding. I left it open. And my agent, when I get back, will say, what do you think about all these things?
Yep. I am not a coder by trade, and I am coding, building things with Claude Code, and it's really fun. And it's exciting. You're like, oh my gosh. So just looking at the outcome, that makes sense. All right. You built AppNexus, right? And you're now telling the industry we've got to rebuild programmatic stack that you helped invent, which is really interesting. So what do you feel like perhaps you owe the people that are still running the stack? And then maybe what do you owe to yourself to get it right or improve upon it this time?
Yeah. You're probably too young to have used Windows 95.
No, definitely did.
Okay. Well, imagine that it is 2026 and you are running a laptop with Windows 95.
That's what we're doing, right?
And effectively, that's what we're doing. We're using an operating system for advertising that I invented 20 years ago to solve problems with putting ad network tags on web pages. That is no longer a problem. That technology does not work for audio. There are no ad tags in radio. Radio doesn't have cookies. In fact, radio doesn't have the same, basic problem of ad networks in the same way. There's only one spot to put an ad, and many people may actually hear the same ad. Right? So why would that technology work for that use case? And so my point is simply to say, there are reasons that you might want to run Windows 95, but not that many.
Can you give me one?
Well, maybe you have a very old laptop.
Okay.
Maybe it's good enough for your purposes.
Okay.
Right? Maybe you don't want all the bloat and complexity of a modern operating system. But my point is to say, well, if you were an alien and you teleported into this planet right now and you saw what AI can do, you're like, oh my gosh, like, do I want to be, logging into a legacy DSP platform and setting up bazillions of campaigns and PMPs and thinking about header bidding and all these esoteric settings? 50% the ANA says of every dollar is wasted in programmatic.
Yeah.
Okay. I can do better than that.
I think we all can, right?
Right. And the question is just, why is this industry resisting it so much? And the answer is because if you're making that 50%, that's not waste. That's revenue.
It's revenue.
Right? And all the expertise we've all built over 20 years of programmatic, well, that's our entire reason for being. And if someone says, hey, you know what? You're not going to have to buy your clients green juice anymore, right? Or if you're the client, you're not going to have to drink green juice anymore, right? Instead, you're going to have an agent that helps you do your job dramatically better.
Yeah.
That is scary and exciting. And that's where we are.
Not a question that I prepped you for, but who do you think loses if we get it right?
It's a great question. I think anyone who's stuck in the old way has a problem. And Microsoft's a great example of this. If you'd gone to Bill Gates in 1995 and said, 30 years from now, Windows will be free, he would have a heart attack, right? You will not ever sell another CD or disc with software on it. You would have a heart attack, right? But Microsoft's fine. You have to be that company that evolves,
Yep.
not the ones that don't.
And there's so many examples of the ones that don't, for sure. When you're thinking about like human in the loop, where are you requiring a human in the loop today, and where are you comfortable handing things off to agents totally in workflows?
Yeah, I think that's a very individual question depending on what kind of company you are. Are you regulated? How much money are we using? How much risk are we taking? And I will say, last May, I wouldn't let my coding agent do anything. I was terrified it would just be like, delete your hard drive. Oops. And it did do stuff like that a couple times. But now I've felt increasingly comfortable that I've put in place the checks and balances, that I have agents checking agents. I know how they work together. I have sophisticated testing suites for my software. I think for advertising, right, we've always said we need a 4 eyes check on everything. But the reality is that doesn't really happen. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. People don't want to spend their whole day double checking each other's work. And so I think there's opportunities where agents can make the approval process or the double checking process much more fun, because you're not worrying about the basic stuff. AI is great at that. You get to have the hard questions of, should we do business with company X? Or, is this actually a good risk to take with the company's precious media and money? Or is this advertiser on brand for this particular podcast? Or vice versa, right? And that's where humans will never be replaced, because it's our fundamental choices and judgment which actually raise up to the level of values, mores, right? Ethics. We should be debating ethics and business, strategy and purpose. And that's what truly our job is. We just get bogged down in admin and bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like with privilege comes responsibility, right? Okay, final question is, let's say it's 2036. What's one job that's in advertising today that no longer exists? And what's a new job that's come to the table now?
Well, I think that any job that looks like trafficking or ad ops or pulling reports, like the sort of very basic mechanical jobs, are going to go away.
Air traffic control.
Well, that's even like harder than many of these jobs. Like I talked to kids who are basically working until midnight, just basically pushing paper.
Yep.
And they're miserable and they're not fulfilled.
I would agree.
I think those will go away. I think for the better. I think the new job will be something along the lines of dreamer. That one thing that AI can't do is dream. And that, I don't mean like, asleep at the job. I mean, having the big, crazy, nonlinear ideas that are what generate true creativity, that, at first seem ridiculous or foolish. Like those will be the jobs that are the creatives of the future. And we will be so overwhelmed by average that AI makes everything average. It will be those transformative ideas and dreams that change the world, like always.
All right. Well, you heard it first, from paper pushers to dreamers, with Brian O'Kelly, Scope 3. Thank you so much for joining us, Brian.
Thanks for having me.